Good evening once again. Thank you all for being here with us tonight. I'd like to call this meeting to order. Mr. Palladino, please call the roll.
Sure. Trustee Dattis.
Here.
Trustee Darrow.
Here.
Trustee Jacko.
Here.
Trustee Velez.
Here.
Trustee Williams.
Here.
Vice President Benamini.
Here.
President Munoz.
Here. Thank you. Can I have a motion to approve the... Oh, I'm sorry.
The New Jersey Open Public Meetings Law was enacted to ensure the right of the public to have advance notice of and to attend meetings of this board, except where specifically exempted by law, at which time any business affecting their interest is discussed or acted upon. In accordance with the provisions of this Act, the Board of Education has caused notice of this meeting to be published by having same advertised in the Belleville Times. Also, notice of this meeting has been mailed to the members of the Board of Education, the Borough Clerk, all elementary schools, the middle school, the high school, Hornblower Early Childhood Center, and posted on the district website. Also, this meeting is being televised via the district's YouTube and Facebook pages.
Thank you. Sorry about that before. Okay, so we're going to move on to the approval of minutes for the December 19th, 2022 meeting. Can I have a motion on that?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we're going to move on to the January 3rd. This would be our reorg meeting that we had. Can I have a motion on that one?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you very much. So we're going to move on to items being presented by the administration. Dr. Tomko.
Thank you, Mr. President. How are you this evening, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome all these incredible faces. We have some great presentations tonight, but before that, I just want to talk about two things that are on the agenda. But the first one is a recognition of our board members. This evening there's a resolution on here. It is National Board Member Month. I just want to say that past and present board members, regardless of some of the decisions that they make up here, I know that they all do it with the best interest of the children in mind. Belleville is unique in the effect that we have 7 board members. A lot of districts have either 5 or 9. But I've always said that the board members that sit up here on this dais represent 1/7 of the population, right? So they have a responsibility to vote how they see fit, and that's why there is a majority rule. They spend average 60 hours a week just doing some extra stuff at night, looking at emails, doing committee meetings, reading my text messages at all times during the day and night with things that are happening around district. So again, in appreciation of all that they do and all the things that you may not know or may not see, I think it's important that we recognize them all across the state of New Jersey today. And I want to thank you all, especially this new board that's reorganized. We had an incredible month getting stuff accomplished, and I know moving forward it's just going to be an incredible year together. But again, in recognition of all the volunteer work that you do, there's no pay, of course. But for our children and our families, thank you very much. We appreciate you. So that's the resolution on tonight. And I just want to say thank you to the board members. The only other thing I really want to talk about, and then we have some great presentations, and we also have a Start Strong Score report, which I'll probably talk about a little bit after Mr. Acosta does his little spiel over there. There's a resolution on here for a lease, an extension on the Cortlandt Street lease property. So I think I just want to talk about it for a few minutes. That's okay, because I think it's important. So as you know, the board has extended the footprint of the district with regard to some of the considerations that we have as a growing community. Our enrollment in and of itself, and this has nothing to do with preschool, but our enrollment in and of itself over the last several months has grown 2.5%. So that's a sign of things happening in this district, whether people are moving out and more people are moving in, or there's different things to look at in Belleville. It's all positive, but it's also something that we need to plan for. So some of the things post-COVID that we talked about and that we've celebrated with regard to the indoor training facility and whatnot were ways to get socialization back, were ways to have individuals come together, post-COVID, which was just a tremendously ridiculous time in our lives. And I think, although we were all a little nervous about what happened, I think it's been just a fantastic several months there now, and we're increasing. We wanted to do it systemically, where we all got involved a little bit at a time, so that we can put more programs in as we go. So I think that's happening. What this lease tonight does is it extends the footprint of that facility, but it extends it for an academic reason. So that will include the Center for Academic Success. That's what the board is considering approving tonight. It's another nice little amount of square footage in the front of that building, which is away from the athletic piece or the extracurricular piece. And basically the idea there is to have two areas. The one area is a tutoring center with some group work, fish bowls in the middle, so that groups, instead of going maybe to parents' houses or trying to work on projects, can log into those individual group rooms. And then on the outside of those fish bowls, having individual cubbies for one-to-one tutoring, et cetera, things that will open up for RTI purposes. Maybe teachers across the district say, some of my students were having issues in grade 6, I'm just making this up, with decimals. Maybe we'll open up a night of decimals to students or something like that. All these different ideas we have for the academic piece. We want to get the local colleges involved. We want to get students involved with teaching and interns, and tutoring for interns and stuff like that. So all these ideas. So that's going to go in that front piece. The other side of that, on the left side, is going to be a cyber lab, where we're going to open up open labs for students, and it's also going to be for our esports team, like an arena. So that's something that the board's considering tonight. Those funds will be funded by Title I, because these are basic needs, because we are doing remedial stuff here. So it's another home run, I think, no pun intended, for the town as a whole. And again, just our commitment for, listen, I'm a parent of 4, and sometimes when you're working and you got soccer and you got karate and all this other stuff, sometimes it's difficult to sit down and really concentrate on some work with some of your other children maybe. This is a good time just to kind of maybe say, hey, listen, you need a little help in this. There's a tutor available. Let's sign you up. Okay, so that's on today for resolution as well. So we're really excited about that. So a lot of great things happening. Again, thank you very much to this board and the past boards, and then let's just move forward with some of these resolutions for tonight with regard to things that our students are doing. So let's first start with the tag winners. Ms. Demikoff. So for those of you, tag is talented and gifted. The old days, gifted and talented, now it's talented and gifted, but a little different. So we have some winners here that Ms. Demikoff is going to announce. You're going to take Gabby. That's too, right?
Good evening, everyone. Dr. Tomko, Board of Education. The name of the competition that our talented and gifted students entered on January 11th was called Interpretive Reading Forensics. Forensics is the art of public speaking. We know that speaking in public is a life skill that serves us well both in and out of school throughout our lifetime. This year, the Interpretive Reading Forensics competition was held at Montclair State University on January 11th. The students are required to select an interesting reading from a published work, such as a short chapter from a novel, or they can select a speech. Their presentations are anywhere from 4 to 5.5 minutes in length. While reading, the students must use appropriate voices within the dialect to represent the characters. The students are also judged on their ability to speak clearly with correct pronunciation, enunciation, and voice projection. Special attention is given to effective communication on the author's mood and meaning, use of vocal variety and pace to define character, appropriate use of facial expressions, and frequent, meaningful eye contact with their audience. Students are judged on the following aspects of their reading selection: interpretation of the actual selection, the clarity of their voice, characterization, and their use of minimal hand gestures. The competition is individually scored by scoring as a team of 5 students. Elementary students in grades 5 and 6 competed, and they are considered junior varsity. 7th and 8th graders are on a varsity team. The top 6 scores individually move on to the finals, where they perform their reading again and then are ranked 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. Teams also compete with combined scores for placing 1st, 2nd, and 3rd as a team. So I am very happy to announce that Belleville Middle School's varsity team, which consisted of 5 8th graders, finished 2nd place after they competed against our neighboring districts, such as Bloomfield, Caldwell, West Caldwell, Livingston, and Roseland. At this time, I would like to call up Miss Omaima Omarer, who teaches grade 7 ELA at Belleville Middle School. Please come up with the trophy. This is Miss Omarer's first year as a talented and gifted instructor at Belleville Middle School. She guided, critiqued, and advised our 5 students so this experience and victory could become a reality for them. Excellent job. You're welcome. Students, when your name is called, please come up to receive your certificate. And once again, this team was also awarded a trophy for their win. Alexander Novakovic, unfortunately, he isn't here tonight. Enrique Castro. Congratulations, Enrique. Juliana Marquin. Congratulations, Juliana. Aiden Molina. Congratulations, Aiden. Adrielle Melgar. Congratulations, Adrielle. So once again, our Belleville Middle School team who won second place in the interpretive reading forensics competition at Montclair State. And before we end, I would just like to say that we have one of our other talented and gifted instructors here, Mr. Peter Velasquez. He wanted to be recognized from his seat, but I don't want to be remiss in announcing our amazing teachers. Thank you for all that you do, and congratulations once again, students. Way to go. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. And I'm going to call up Mr. Mara for our fall sports our fall sports super conference winners.
Hello, everyone. We had a great fall. As you can see, we had 33 student athletes that were recognized by our all-conference, okay? I am going to ask, I'm going to do it by team, and we'll hand it out to you, the certificates, and then you can stay up here. Parents want to come and get pictures. That's up to you. We don't charge too much. Usually that autographs are free. Mr. Velez will do it afterwards. We know for a fact, okay? So what I did, guys, I just kind of put them in order like that for sport, and then like the next one comes, the next one, just made it easy. All right. So first we have girls tennis. We had, for honorable mention in the SEC Colonial Division, we had Rhea Desai. Is right here? No. That's what we have for girls tennis. Next we have, I know for a fact, Coach Palooka. Are you there? Come on up, Coach Palooka. Come help out. The boys soccer team had a great season, getting to the quarterfinals of the state tournament. Very proud. First team, SEC Colonial Division, we had Ivan Garcia and Gerber Torres. Gerber Correas, my fault. There you go. Gerber knows he's one of my favorites, so sorry about that, bud. Second team, SEC Colonial Division, Logan Kutlu and Wilberto Solorzano. Honorable mention, SEC Colonial Division, Joshua Nadang. It's only a sophomore. Great job, boys soccer team. Parents, you can take pictures. Go ahead. Go ahead, Coach. Josh, you guys here, right? Yeah. Great job. Next, we have girls soccer. I think I saw Coach Alves, Coach Garrett. Come on down. First team, SEC Liberty Division, we have Rosalind Almodovar. Second team, SEC Liberty Division, Jalen Perez. Honorable mention, SEC Liberty Division, Emily Gavidia. Next team we have is girls volleyball. First team, SEC Colonial Division. Ashley Selly. Oh, Coach Spina. There we go. All right, Coach. I know he was coaching wrestling his son tonight, so I didn't know he was going to make it. First team, SEC Colonial Division, we have Christina Bayous. Second team, SEC Colonial Division, we have Caitlin Cotto. Second team, SEC Colonial Division, we have Galadriel Bala de Varona. Honorable mention, SEC Colonial Division, Carmela Urbano. And honorable mention, SEC Colonial Division, Carissa Ramada. Great job, girls. Someone's going to take me. I don't know if we appreciate Mr. Parapato as much as we should. Thank you, Mr. Parapato, for everything that you do. Great job, girls, and thank you once again, Mr. Parapato. Next, we have football. I think I saw Coach Antab, Coach Muldrow, Coach Carfagno. Did I miss anybody? So, first team. I got to get this right for football. First team, Super Football Conference. Patriot White offense, Jeremiah Cook. I know Jeremiah had a basketball game today. They advanced in the county tournament. They beat University 64-61. Yeah. Yep. First team, Super Football Conference, Patriot White defense. I know I saw him, Meldrich Amante. Where is there? He is. Second team, Super Football Conference, Patriot White defense, Angelo Durainville. Second team, Football Patriot White Conference defense, Khalil Bay. And honorable mention, Super Football Conference Patriot White, Samuel Perez. Great job, guys. Yeah, that's it.
You gotta turn the cameras the other way now.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, one more one. This is the yearbook one.
Good job, guys. Next, we have boys and girls cross country, so I'm going to ask Coach Parecco and Coach Laxamana to come up. For boys cross country, second team, SEC Liberty Division, Andrew Olias. Honorable mention, SEC Liberty Division, Jake Santos. And honorable mention, SEC Liberty Division, James Cooper. Next, girls cross country, who, believe it or not, they were the 2022 Colonial Division champions, which posted 9 girls to the all-conference team. So we had 3 girls on first team. We have first team SEC Colonial Division. We have Kaylee Surachakwi, Carolina Moriera, and Isabella Aguilar. SEC second team Colonial Division, Jackson Flores, Shannon McCabe, Sophia Ayala, Aeneas Perez, Fabian, and Catalina Kukas. Honorable mention, SEC Colonial Division, Gabriela Rivera. Great job, and SEC Colonial Division champions, girls cross country. Excellent. One more. Congratulations to all parents, student athletes, and coaches. Thank you guys, in a great fall season. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you guys. You know that.
All right, let's give another round of applause to all of our athletes. Excellent job, Mr. Mara. Thank you so much. Mr. Mara, I just want to thank you for all you do. I know it goes overlooked. I mean, all of our teachers, administrators do a phenomenal job, but I mean, at any time during the day or at night, you see Mr. Mara here with our kids. So let's give him a round of applause, Mr. Mara. Thank you very much. As a former AD, I know what it's like. So thank you again for all you do. Before I turn it over to Mr. Acosta, I just want to also recognize. You may have seen in our in some of the local papers a federal grant, G5 grant that we received. Dr. Pastor is here. Worked very hard on that grant with Keene University. We've been talking about Keene University a lot today, Mr. Bush. $4.5 million to assist with, to partner with them with regards to some, some mental health issues with some intern psychologists, et cetera. Just getting more supports for our students, our teachers, and actually paying it forward, right? Bringing more students from our local colleges and universities here at Belleville, which hopefully will just mature into this incredible relationship with Keene University. I said it again, it's like a Keene University commercial tonight. Keene University. So, but again, Doctor, thank you very much. It's one of the biggest grants I've ever been part of, so just a great job. So just a round of applause for all the people that worked on that grant, please. Yeah, no, that's what I said. And then again, as we always recognize Students of the Month, there's a list there of all of them. They work hard, they're represented and recognized by their schools. Just again, a lot of great things happening here, a lot of things going on in district. We appreciate all that for the first month moving into the new school year. So as I say all the time, progress, and there's a lot more to come. Mr. Acosta, if you want to come up now and a nice, brief, succinct summary of these incredible tests that everybody took across the state of New Jersey, which I'll give my 2 cents on after, but thank you. If the board wants to leave the dais, if they're in the middle, it's fine. I don't know if we're going to hit the lights, but you sure? Okay.
That's fine. Good evening, everyone. I'll try to be brief. So these are the results of the Start Strong assessment. This is the second year that the state has mandated that all schools in the state of New Jersey take the Start Strong at the beginning of the school year. So our students tested in September. So basically, it is a test to measure where students are at the beginning of the year, because as everyone knows, there is considerable learning loss over the summer. So they want to measure where we are at the beginning of the year. The test is based on the previous year's content. So for example, the 4th graders that took the assessment in September, they were assessed on 3rd grade content. 5th grade was assessed on 4th grade content, etc. With the math at the high school level, students who are currently taking Algebra 1, they were assessed on 8th grade math with a focus on algebra. And geometry, same thing, 8th grade math with a focus on geometry. And our Algebra 2 students were tested on Algebra 1 concepts. Same thing with science, grade 6, everything, grades 3 through 5 in science content. Grade 9, that was middle school science content, and then grade 12, high school science content. Again, impact of COVID-19, we all know that on top of the regular normal learning loss that occurs is a reason why we want to try to pinpoint how each student is doing at the beginning of the year and why this assessment is being given at the beginning of the year. The results are made available pretty immediate, so teachers can see right away how their students did, focus on some areas that students need more support in, and helps the curriculum and instruction team prepare some strategic planning for the curriculum for the upcoming year. This is just a sample slide. So here are the numbers. This is the number of students tested for each test. And again, this is a template that's given to us by the state. It is mandated. It's a CUSAC requirement that we present these scores, so we have to put all of these slides together. As I usually do, I'm not going to read every slide. I'm going to go through these fairly quickly. I'll point out a few things when I need to. However, I don't know if you can see on the right-hand side, that would be students that need less support. So those are our percentages there. And this is ELA for grades 4 through 10 for our district. Same thing with math on the right-hand side, students that need less support. And there is an asterisk there for grade 8 math because only 22 students took the grade 8 math assessment. The rest of them took the Algebra 1. So that's why we only have 22 students. And it's the one outlier there out of all those scores. Same with science. Again, right-hand side. And now this is ELA 4 by school, same concepts. I did not change the order of the slide, so it's the same thing. Students that need less support are going to be all the way on the right, that percentage. ELA 5, ELA 6, math grade 4. Again, this is by elementary school. Math grade 5, grade 6, science grade 6 across the elementaries. And now here are comparing each school to the district percentages. So this is school 3's ELA, grades 4 to 6. The school's percentage, the district is all the way on the right. The school is the one right next to it. If it's green, that means they were above the district average. If they were red, they were below the district average. Here is school 4, school 5, school 7. Yellow means they were the same as the district. School 8, school 9, school 10. And same with math, same concept, school 3, school 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And here are our percentages by subgroup. This is ELA. Again, less support is all the way on the right. We have our ELLs, 504, special ed, free and reduced lunch, non-free and reduced lunch, gen ed, and then total student population. And then this is now by race / ethnicity, same thing, less support all the way on the right. If there is no percentage, I don't remember if there's any that doesn't have a percentage. It just means we didn't have enough students to be able to give a percentage for that particular subgroup. But we have American Indian, Asian, Black or African American, Hispanic, Latino, Pacific Islander, 2 or more races, and white. This is by gender, female, male, and then all students. Again, we're looking at the right-hand column for less support needed. Here is the math by the subgroups by program, same as the ELA. Race, ethnicity for mathematics. Gender for mathematics. Science, same thing by program, by ethnicity, and by gender. We're almost at the end of the presentation, so I did a comparison. This is one slide that is not given by the state, so I wanted to see how we did 2021 Start Strong versus the 2022 Start Strong. Here is ELA. Now, grade level comparison, which is the chart on the left, that's just 4th grade this year versus 4th grade last year, which is a whole different set of students. So for the most part, they were a little lower this year than they were last year. Light blue is 2022, the darker blue is 2021. However, if you look at the cohort progression, which is the one on the right, that is the same kids. So I compared, so as you can see, it starts with grade 5, so that's the grade 5 this year versus how they did in grade 4 last year. And the light blue on this one is 2022, and the dark blue in the background, that's your 2021. And for the most part, we were higher in almost every grade level. Grade 6 was a little lower. Grade 9 was the same. And I cannot see. Grade 10 was lower, 43. So 43 to 46. So other than that, every other group this year was higher than last year. Same with the math. Now with the math, actually the students started off, as we look at just the grade level comparison, they actually started off for the most part higher this year than they did last year, with the exception of Algebra 2. Other than that, every other grade level was either higher or the same as they were last year. And with the math, grade 5, 6, and 7 compared to their results last year, They did better this year. Grade 6 was the same. But this is, again, cohort meaning the same group of kids, how they did in 2021 versus how they did in 2022. So the trends are looking really good as far as our students progressing and starting off the year higher than they did the previous year. So I'm hoping that this continues as the years progress, that the students will also continue progressing as we put more interventions in place and more programs. Last slide, these are the intervention strategies that we put in place this year as a district. There's been an emphasis on the priority standards in math and ELA, small group remediation or acceleration during RISE, targeted before and after school tutoring, readers, writers workshop, a couple of computer programs that we've been using, Renaissance Star 360, which identifies the strengths and weaknesses, and it is adaptive. It will move up or down based on how the students respond. Freckle, same thing, that's for ELA and math and K-6. That's another resource that our teachers are using with our students, and that is aligned with our Renaissance data. We also have our IXL that the students work on. We have Lalilo, which is also aligned to Renaissance data. Foundations for grades K-2, which is a phonics program. Edmentum and Alex for middle and high school, grades 7 through 12, for math and ELA. Another adaptive software. And our last one, which is probably the biggest piece, is our RTI piece, where we now have the program in place. We have interventionists at every level. We have 2 at the high school, 2 at the middle school, and then 6 across the elementaries. At the middle and high school, 1 math, 1 ELA. At the elementaries, 3 ELA, 3 math, and they split the 7 elementary schools among them. And they are doing our Tier 3 interventions in our schools with our students. So this will be posted on the district website tomorrow morning for those that want to look at those scores a little closer. And that's the end of the presentation. Thank you guys very much. Hope you have a great night.
Thank you again, Mr. Acosta. Once again, before I turn it back over, there's been a lot of talk about the Start Strong scores and basically, you know, how these questions or banks of questions are chosen. It's really no input. We're not really sure how we're identifying certain supports through these tests. However, these aren't scores like, you know, 100 on a test or anything like that. That's not how it works. This is to understand what kind of support, or if a student needs supports with regard to a comparison of 1 year to the next, or basically what student aptitude should be based on standardized testing. So for those of you who have been following and been talking about standardized testing for years and how money goes into these groups and stuff, you need to look at this a little bit more closely. We talk about RTI. RTI has been around forever. It's been called different things, responses to interventions. Every student who goes through a crisis, regardless of its special needs or over the summer, for learning loss has been around for 100 years. They are receiving interventions, right? Since I've been a teacher, that's been happening. It's been called different things. When we were in COVID, every student was in crisis. Every student was basically at the time eligible for RTI. Every student was eligible for supports. So if we had these charts at the time, it would be 100% need support, right? So we're getting there. I think the more important piece for me with the supports is that trajectory moving from 1 year to the next, where we are showing progress that we need less support based on these tests. And that's important. That means that what we've chosen to do is working. I'm a big proponent of saying that getting students in here earlier in the pre-Ks is going to definitely show a difference 5 or 6 years from now. But again, I think it's we have to look at each individual student's scores, their scores on their benchmark tests, what's happening in the grading. We have probably one of the most difficult grading, I shouldn't say difficult, one of the most challenging grading systems out of any of the school districts. We have an 80-10-10 split of different percentages of scores and 70% a passing rate here. Most districts, neighboring districts, have 65%, and they don't split it up 80-10-10, meaning 80% for test scores, 10% participation, 10% quizzes, et cetera. So all those things combined are what's really giving our teachers the ability to make a difference coming out of COVID. We could sit here and argue about COVID all day probably, but the reality is it's a restart, and that's where we are, and we're moving forward. So again, I appreciate those scores. We use them as a reference, but looking into them too much is really not something you could do on an aptitude level. But that's really it. So thank you again all for coming. Thank you again, board, for all you do and progress.
Thank you, Dr. Tomko. Mr. Palladino, would you be able to give a report by from the state monitor? No comments. No comments at this time. Okay. Okay. I'd like to move on to remarks by citizen. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. I will call the individuals who wish to speak in the order that they appear in the sign-in roster. The individual called to be heard shall proceed with his or her comments as briefly as the subject permits, with a maximum of 3 minutes at the podium. All inquiries must be directed to the board president, Mr. Michael Sheldon.
All right. Good evening, everyone. Michael Sheldon, 47 Floyd Street. A couple of questions about agenda items. 7.45, which is an addendum. It's a district painter. I'd like to know, is this a faculty member, an art teacher, or a person in the Buildings and Grounds Department? It doesn't really specify what's the nature of the painting involved there. Agenda item 920, high school guest speaker. Usually these things don't get any attention whatsoever, but I noticed the name of the speaker, and I just want to ask, is the last name spelled correctly? I don't think it is. This person, unfortunately, may have been part of a terrible incident in this township a year and a half ago. I won't elaborate any bit more, but I think the name has been misspelled. It's Turano, but Turano is the correct spelling, but you can check that later on. Two agenda items that are in parallel, 1029 and 1030, senior renovation, and then furniture for the senior cafeteria. I assume the same entities involved there. But with 1029, you don't indicate what the renovation costs are. You indicate how much you're spending on furniture, $109,000, but I'd like to know what is the projected cost for the renovation of, I assume, the senior lounge. And as usual, these things tend to come out of the food service surplus, which seems to be an inexhaustible supply of cash. I hope you might be able to use some of that when you come up with this year's budget and tax bill. Thank you for clarifying the expansion at the athletic facility on Cortlandt Street. I was concerned because, you know, it is an athletic facility and it says you're using Title I monies. As I'm sure everyone on this board knows, Title I monies are supposed to be used for academic purposes, not sports related, but Dr. Tomko indicated that you're putting in some sort of tutoring center there. But I have to ask, why isn't the tutoring center going in elsewhere? You've acquired so much other property in the last 2 years, especially the former Eastern International College. Couldn't some of that space be used for tutoring to save the taxpayers some money? How much time do I have left? My clock, I forgot.
39 seconds.
How much?
35 seconds.
35 seconds. Lastly, I want to speak about the Start Strong results. For the brief period they were on, the Algebra 1 and Algebra 2 results are once again atrocious. Dr. Tomko, when you arrived here 8 years ago, almost 8 years ago, your first speech, what you said made my heart sing. I'm sure you recall, you said that one of your main goals was that in the very near future, you wanted every Belleville High School graduate to be proficient in trigonometry. We're moving steadily in the opposite direction. I wonder if any of our students at all know forget about trigonometry, but even Algebra 1. I mean, this is totally unacceptable. We are probably one of the worst performing academic districts in the state. I know you're going to say, well, COVID's had a big impact, but I'm going to make the effort in the next few days to look at the Start Strong results for other districts, especially in Essex County, and compare and contrast what they're experiencing versus ours, and I'll report those results. Thank you.
Through the chair, I'll answer some of those questions. Actually, we could start with the Start Strong piece, and I appreciate the comments, and I do recall what I said about trigonometry, and we do have students that do take that and do well and get scholarships to universities. However, I'd love every student to take it, but as you also remember when I first got here, we missed a whole year or two of algebra. We didn't even schedule it, if you remember that correctly. And then you were on the board as well when we started working on a 5-year process to revamp all that. And I think today, if you look at the curriculum guides that we have in there, we've kind of moved our secondary math into the right direction now, making sure all of our students touch algebra a little bit earlier because, we did have a little hiccup with that when we were trying to move. So the 5-year plan that we had, because of COVID, obviously was stalled, so unfortunately. But again, we could always get better. And as you compare, not just what was just said, but when you compare districts, we got to make sure we compare a lot of things, right? When we compare districts, not just because they're our neighbors, we play them in basketball, and we have friends there, but you got to, socioeconomics, 2 working household families, things of that nature. We have students here that have to work full-time jobs to help support their families, and those students do really well. So there's just different things to consider when we look at scores. That's why I said we have to look at individual students. And every year when we give out our awards at the end, we have students that go to great schools, and we have students that go into the workforce. There's nothing wrong with that. We have students that go into the military. So I think we're on the right path. The district painter is a painter of maintenance projects. It's not an art painter, so it's maintenance working. I will definitely look into the spelling of that. I thank you. If that's wrong, I'll amend that. The furniture piece is through the food service with the renovation. All those are part of the bid. I believe the lowest bid, it's to be voted on tonight, but I'm guessing we could say what it is because it's not public record yet until the board votes, but I believe the bid's $869,000. Is that right? So the bid for the entire renovation of that senior cafeteria is $869,000. That's the bid that we were hoping the board accepts tonight. And yes, that is food service monies. So your profits from food service go right back into the kids and the community. That's how it works. That's a restricted fund. The money that you make on food has to go back into food. So you can't get teachers with it or books and stuff like that. And I think that's everything that was asked, so thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Vincent Frantantoni?
Yes, good evening, board members and administrators. First, I'd like to congratulate the students who got the tag winners for public speaking. It's been decades I've been complaining about the lack of the ability of public speaking, not only our students, but our Board of Ed trustees and our council members. Don't know how to use the microphone, don't know how to speak. So I'm very happy to see that we're making progress in that area. And I hope you board members take note of that. 10.19. GoPro Waste Services to remove the trash at 259 Washington Avenue. Number one, I'd like to know how much that is costing because I've seen a couple of dumpsters already filled and gone, and there's more I think were delivered there yesterday. The question I have, and my concerns are there, it was a very suspicious purchase. I think it violated some state laws possibly. It deprived the citizens the right to vote if we're going to do that. But the thing is, you gave the owner I think almost $500,000 profit. I bought and sold over the years about a dozen pieces of property and all, and you could have had him, you know, if you're doing it right, you wanted the building broom clean. Now, why, in addition to all the big profit we gave him, why are we paying, why are we having to pay for all the garbage that he left behind? That's something that Dr. Tonko or whoever approved this deal should have put in. That building should have left broom clean, so we didn't have to discard of all this trash and get expenses. So I'd like to know why and how much you anticipate. I saw, I think yesterday, delivered more dumpsters, Friday rather.
Thank you. Through the chair. So part of the, I don't really have an answer for the property. You know, it was a viable piece of property. It was in a development area. We needed it for the project. So, I mean, it became, you know, unfortunately a piece to bid. And it was sold as is. We knew there were some environmental issues there as well, which any property now has. So we've been fixing that as well. So there was nothing about demolishing the property. We knew we would do that. We made the decision here as committees and board to take that down now, earlier than have it go out to bid or be part of the bid, to save some money on the bid, which is, I think, going to save us a ton of money. I hate to say a ton of money, but a bunch of money. We're doing it now with our own team, and also because, to be totally honest with you, it's an eyesore, and the board owns it now, and the board has charged me with the perception of this district, and I think we've done an incredible job, so we don't want something like that on Washington Ave anymore. It's also a liability out there with people walking by and people parking there, so this is what we're doing. I don't know what's the cost, you don't know? Yeah, what is it though? I don't see it. So, yeah. Right, but I think it's, yeah. Right, so we're looking at 4-ton limit at $750. So 4-ton limit. It's actually in the resolution. I don't know if you have the printout there, Mr. Frantantoni, but it's 30-yard dumpster is $750 with a 4-ton limit. Anything over 4 tons is $110 a ton. So.
Okay, can I have a motion to close public participation?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. We're going to go ahead and move on to our personnel.
Mr. President,
Excuse me?
may I say something real quick?
Okay.
I just want to say, just reflecting on a comment that was made earlier, you know, board members, you know, sitting here, public servants, we're here serving the public, and we've opened ourselves willingly to critiques and to political shots, but to question the intelligence of our students and say such condescending and pompous statements, questioning if they can even do algebra, I think it's just abhorrent. I just want to say I'm deeply disturbed by the comment, and I would hope that we have more respect for our students, because our students work very hard, and student achievement is not something as easily quantifiable through numbers, and when you look at the numbers, we have made some progress. So I just wanted to say that and put that out there.
Thank you, Mr. Velez. Anyone else? Anything? Okay. I want to move on to personnel. Can I have a motion on 7-1 to 7:45?
Motion.
Ma'am?
Second it.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none, Mr. Palladino, please call the roll.
Trustee Dattis.
Yes.
Trustee Darrow.
Yes.
Trustee Jacko. Trustee Jacko.
Yes.
Trustee Velez.
Yes.
Trustee Williams.
Yes.
Vice President Benamini.
Yes.
President Munoz.
Yes, thank you. We're going to move on to board action and board policy. Can I have a motion on 9-1 to 929?
Motion. Second.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none, Mr. Palladino, please call the roll.
Trustee Dattis.
Yes.
Trustee Darrow.
Yes.
Trustee Jacko.
Yes to all, but I abstained from 9.27.
Trustee Velez.
Yes to all with an abstention on 9.27.
Trustee Williams.
Yes.
Vice President Benamini.
Yes.
And President Munoz.
Yes, thank you. We're going to move on to purchasing and business. May I have a motion on 10.1 to 10.38, please?
Motion.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none, Mr. Palladino, please call the roll.
Trustee Dattis.
Yes to all with the exception of 10.9 and 10.10. That is a no.
Trustee Darrow.
Yes, with the exception of 10.9.
I'm sorry, with the exception of?
10.9?
10.9?
10.9,
Okay.
sorry.
Are you
10.9?
no or abstaining?
No.
Okay.
Got it. Trustee Jacko.
Yes.
Trustee Velez.
Yes.
Trustee Williams.
Yes.
Vice President Benamini.
Yes.
President Munoz.
Yes. We're going to move on to finance. Can I have a motion on 11.1 to 11.6, please?
Motion.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none, Mr. Palladino, please call the roll.
Trustee Dattis.
Yes.
Trustee Darrow.
Yes.
Trustee Jacko.
Yes.
Trustee Velez.
Yes.
Trustee Williams.
Yes.
Vice President Benamini.
Yes.
President Munoz.
Yes. That takes care of business. We're going to move on to opening the floor back up to remarks by citizens. Can I have a motion?
Motion.
Yeah, excuse me? Motion? Second?
Second.
Any opposed? Okay. I will call either board president will call the individuals who wish to speak in the order that they appear in the sign-in roster. The individual called to be heard shall proceed with his or her comments as briefly as the subject permits, with a maximum of 5 minutes at the podium. All inquiries must be directed to the board president of education, Mr. Michael Sheldon.
Good evening again. I just want to follow up on what Mr. Velez said a moment ago. My comment was not intended, designed to be any attack on our kids. Rather, it was to assail this administration and trustees for not demanding more accountability. So don't play politics with me, Mr. Velez, trying to pit the students against me. The simple fact of the matter is that over the last several years, millions and millions of dollars have been spent purchasing new equipment, new textbooks, designing new curricula, hiring new highly qualified teachers. Where are the results? There aren't any. The test results clearly show that we're failing our students. So again, don't play politics with me, Mr. Velez. Now, I want to talk about something that's finally gaining some traction in our community, and that's the ongoing absence of our state monitor. I'm sure all of you, since you're, as Dr. Tomko said, are spending 60 hours a week doing your fiduciary responsibilities as trustees, you're well familiar with the state monitor statute. I'm just going to, I have some extra copies here. You want to hand those out? State monitor statute, and I'm sure Mr. Bush probably has this citation committed to memory, under Title 18A, 75-55, and it's a two-page document. It's posted online. The Belleville Watch has done a recent story about this matter as well, and it's entitled Appointment of the State Monitor in Certain School Districts, and it explains on the first page what are the criteria to have a state monitor, and on the second page it enumerates the responsibilities of the state monitor, and it says the state monitor shall, and if you skip down to item number 6, it says attend all meetings of the Board of Education, including closed sessions, and number 7 says meet with the Board of Education on at least a quarterly basis to discuss with the members of the board the past actions of the board which led to the appointment of the state monitor, right? Now, at the last meeting, regular meeting, Ms. Jocko clearly made it known to the community that she hasn't seen Mr. Egan for nearly 2.5 years. After COVID hit us and we were dealing with Zoom stuff, I didn't see Mr. Egan during the second half of 2020 myself when I was on the board. Clearly, Mr. Egan is missing in action. And don't tell me that Mr. Egan is watching from home. That is not attending. The intention of this statute is very clear. He is supposed to attend. Well, if he can't be here in person, then you should be making arrangements for him to appear on a video screen or, at the very least, through some sort of telephone conferencing mechanism. He is not fulfilling his obligations as state monitor, which brings me to another matter I want to make when I have 2 minutes left. The reason we have a state monitor here is because when he was appointed in May of 2014, our district had been plunged into nearly a $4 million deficit by the actions of the previous board that was in place pretty much during the period 2012 through 2014. The state then floated us a loan of $4.2 million over a 10-year period, and according to my calculations, we have 2 years left in that. That is the only string that the state has keeping the state monitor in place, because our QSAC scores, et cetera, are all acceptable at this stage. Now, the board has the statutory authority, as I learned in 2019 when I was finance chair. You can take it upon yourselves, if you can get 4 votes, to pay off the balance of the loan, which is should be down to about $840,000 at this point. You've been paying roughly $420,000 a year for the last 8 years. You can instruct the superintendent and the business administrator to pay off the balance of the loan, which would essentially sever the last tentacle that the state has keeping the state monitor in place. And I'm sure once I'm away from the microphone and can't rebut, Dr. Tomko will explain to the community how I'm off base and don't understand the procedure. But again, this is what I was told in 2019 as finance chair, that the law had changed, which would allow districts to pay off prematurely any balance on loans that had been extended. So I'm asking you, especially the 4 of you, had your votes overturned during the Christmas holiday, and somehow that document, which was not public domain, managed to get to Mr. Mellum's Facebook page during the middle of the holiday closure. That's another inexplicable mystery that someday might be solved. Well, I'm down in 0 time, of course. But I would like you guys to have some discussion, if not publicly, privately, on finally purging the state monitor and returning full autonomy to our district. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sheldon. Yes.
Yes, through the chair, I just want to, this is not to refute anything that Mr. Sheldon said, even though he didn't mention that. It's just to be very clear for the board to understand and the public to understand that regardless of paying the state monitors, regardless of paying the loan back, the state monitor doesn't leave the next day. That's not how it works. The state monitor has to be removed by the commissioner. So even if in 2 years we do pay the loan back, the monitor can still be here for another 10 years if possible. The purpose of a monitor is because not just money was misappropriated or there was a deficit, but the purpose of the monitor is because whatever the administration of the buildings or the district at the time was occurring, regardless if it was egregious or there was malfeasance or not, the state at the time felt that a monitor was needed to oversee either the fiscal or the governance of the district. So although most likely, usually after you pay off the loan, that's what usually happens, it is not an automatic. This loan is interest-free, so paying it back early doesn't really make any sense. It's like getting money from your uncle for free and him saying, don't worry about it, pay it back when you can. That's what it is. So that's really it. I won't speak to anything else about Mr. Egan or whatnot. He can handle himself. I'm not worried about that. This board has no control over the state monitor. However, I just want to be very clear for the board that if you pay the bill tomorrow, doesn't mean he leaves Wednesday. That's not how it works. Okay, so just so you're all aware of that. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Vincent Frantantoni?
on the previous board years ago, we were allowed 8, 10 minutes to speak, but we would be able to have a dialogue, a back and forth, and get some answers, and so we could resolve some things. This board, this administration, blame it on the board entirely, now has this system where we have to sit down and then you lie. A good example why that's wrong, I sat down and then Dr. Tomko said we had to clean up the King place because it was an eyesore. The King place was not an eyesore. When he closed up, my friend bought doors from him. I went down because there was doors in the window I wanted to buy from him. The property was maintained. It became an eyesore because you allowed the fire department to use as a training facilities. I sat in your parking lot one afternoon with a friend of mine and watched them cut through the roof on all that. I watched them do other, and it's a good training exercise. But that was the mess that was made. That place was perfectly good. The windows were clean. Like I said, my friend bought doors. I went down to buy doors. They didn't have the sign. I know King Aluminum when they used to be next to Town Hall 50 years ago and the other places. So it was well maintained. But that's what happens. You get up, people sit down, then you make your statements, which are wrong. The other question I have, Essex County tonnage was $102.50 a ton. 2 weeks ago, front page article, DiVincenzo bragged that they finally paid off the utility debt and all these towns are going to save money because the tonnage dropped. But it was $102.50. Why are we paying $110 a ton? I'd like to know that. I had to bring that up because that's what we're doing, and I'm not happy what Dr. Tomko is making you trustees be embarrassed by. I really came here tonight to thank the 4 trustees who voted not to give away that School One property, I believe because you didn't have all the factual information. I fought for 20 years to save that School One property. You know, we kept hearing the same baloney that it's an eyesore and a wreck, but it wasn't. We heard it was a vacant, dilapidated building, yet we had a transportation committee. We saw all our buses there. Our rowing team had their equipment there. Dial-A-Ride had their cars parked there. A bicycle patrol was in that building. It was a storage facility, right? Then they said there was a major roof leak. When I asked to go tour the building, it wasn't master lit. They intentionally left the 2-foot by 3-foot hatch cover off the roof hatch. Intentionally, I took pictures. That was publicized and all that. You know, for 20 years, they couldn't find a deed for the property. All these high-paid professionals, our previous lawyers, our administrators, all the high-paid employees couldn't find the deeds. I was on jury duty one day. At lunchtime, I went, and I found the deed. The reason they couldn't find it, they were looking for 190 Cortlandt Street. The real address was 81 Stevens Street. There's a problem with one of the deeds. There was not one, there was 4 and not 5. I got them all home. I just couldn't find them tonight real fast and all that. So, again, you talk to trustees into giving them. I'm thankful for the 4 of them, but Mr. Regan, I understand, overrode you. And I don't know how he can do all this work for Belleville. He's also the monitor in Ridgefield Park. He's a monitor in North Darlington, and I get the North Jersey Herald. I think he's a monitor in another town. So how does he do all this work? I mean, this Belleville is enough work alone. And if last time I asked, I think he was getting $96 an hour. And then what I want to say is buying this Eastern College and buying King Aluminum was a scam. Dr. Tomko, in my opinion, and I know the budgets, I can't go through them because they changed all the titles, so it's difficult. He over-budgeted all these budgets and then transferred the funds to the Capitol to get this moved. When I said to buy the School One property publicly, and I brought him Title 18 that you could condemn it and buy, he said, we can't buy it because we have to have the money in place to buy. And all of a sudden, he's got millions of dollars to buy the King Aluminum place. How did that happen? Any of you trustees say, where did that money come from? And I'll tell you where. He just over-budgeted every line items and then transferred to the capital budget. And that's a disgrace. You know, that should have been on the referendum. This is a major project. To buy Eastern College and the King alone, the voters should have had input on that. That should have been a referendum. And it's embarrassment what he did to you trustees, and I thank the 4 trustees for staying up. I just hope you'll be a little more, your budget time here, watch the line items and watch which items he's padding to build up another surplus. Thank you.
Just to try to just make one comment about the eyesore piece, so everybody's kind of aware of it. And then, Mr. Frantantoni, if you want to call me, you've been out for a few months, but if you want to call me, we can catch up because a lot of your information is wrong about some of that monies that you're talking about. But I understand you haven't been here, so if you want to catch up, I can definitely meet you in my office and we go over some stuff. But the eyesore piece that you're talking about, regardless of what we allowed the fire department to do to help with training, which I think was a great thing that we did, we had people living in there. So if you don't think that's an eyesore, I mean, I don't know what is then, but just that alone tells you that, you know, obviously people were getting in there, so it was dangerous. So that to me is not a place that I would want the board to be representative of what our district is doing here. So that's why we're doing it. And again, at the end of the day, we're saving a lot of money on what that bid would be to take it down. So thank you.
Okay, can I have a motion to close public participation?
Motion.
Second? Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. We're gonna move on to committee reports. I'd like to, we can start with Mr. Velez.
Thank you, Mr. President. So before I go to my committee reports, we got a few things here, a lot of awardees. But first, quickly, before going to that, just want to reiterate, yes, I disagreed with a comment that was made. It was not a personal attack on anyone, but I do stand behind my comment that it's very difficult to quantify student achievement through test scores, and we always have to be mindful of how we speak about our children's academic success and progress. Now, going forward, when it comes to School 1, yes, like some people have brought up, while I did disagree, I do respect the decision of the state monitor. And going forward, I do think that, you know, we're going to have, you know, more conversations, but I think, again, you know, as a board, we are very limited in what we can or cannot do in regards to the state monitor. So a lot of this is state statute, so that is well beyond this board. Going forward, in terms of the awardees, I just want to congratulate everybody for their hard work, both athletic and academic. It is really amazing what so many of our students are doing in our schools every single day, really fostering important life skills through sports and other academic ventures, and they should be congratulated for such. In terms of committees, in regards to athletics, we had an athletics committee meeting, and overall, we just spoke briefly about the different sports and the different scores. For example, the boys basketball team won recently the North Arlington tournament, and our wrestling team has won a myriad of separate matches. So overall, our athletics so far in the winter session are going great. In terms of operations, really quickly, the middle school AC upgrade project is getting underway. It was just awarded in November. The high school senior CAF redesign project award was just voted on and approved. School 4 retaining wall will be going out to bid. We are working on the high school greenhouse, and Cortlandt Street, we just had the lease for 8,000 square feet that will be focusing on tutoring center and esports room. I think this is really important, and I think it's a great thing that we're investing more into our children in a myriad of different aspects of their education. Now, to close, I just want to state that as I enter my last year of my term, I am filled with even more excitement and optimism than when I first came to the board 2 years ago. My colleagues and I have worked fanatically to build a better future for our students, families, and staff, and I'm so proud we have done just that, and we are doing much, much more. Every single day, I'm so proud of all the great initiatives that we're doing, and I can't wait to keep moving our district moving forward together. So thank you all so much, and thank you for coming out tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Velez. Ms. Jocko?
Thank you, Mr. President. First, I want to say thank you to Mr. Velez for doing our operations report and athletic report. I wanted to take the time to congratulate our talented and gifted program. Congratulations to Ms. Demikoff, the teachers and students for their hard work, and congratulations on your achievement. Thank you for making Belleville proud. Also to all of the athletic, the athletic department, Mr. Mara, the coaches, and student athletes for all their hard work and for also making Belleville proud. In regards to 10.34, I wanted to state that it's wonderful that our superintendent is very innovative and a visionary. Kudos to him for that, because we're going to be able to attack headstrong our disparities in some student achievement and helping them to get to that finish line with after-school tutoring available to our students in our community. It's important that, one, our students have every opportunity afforded to them to achieve, and also it keeps our kids off the street. So we're tackling that, and it's a great initiative, and thank you for that, Dr. Tomko, and to the board for supporting that also. I just see that perhaps there's going to be some busing conflict, but hopefully that can be overcome. In regards to, welcome back, Mr. Frantantoni. I haven't seen you in a while. I know that there was comments about our state monitor. I made some comments last meeting myself. Everybody, as Dr. Tomko has said in the past, checks and balances. Every department, every position has a checks and balances. So I understand that there's questions, because especially I had questions myself, because I have not seen him, but I was instructed that I could come in during the day and see Mr. Egan. So I will be doing that sometime in the future, but I do hope that at the end of the day, oh, I didn't know I had a time clock. Just in time, right?
That wasn't me, Ms. Chaco.
Maybe we should do that. What do you think? But no, but hopefully in the future I can actually understand his overturning that decision. I like to work amicably. I do express myself very affirmative when I'm concerned. I do ask a lot of questions, and I'm just doing my due diligence. And sometimes I'm frowned upon for that, not just up here, but out there. But it's important to always ask questions. We teach our children every day, I know as a mom, you know, don't take everything for face value, right? So I'm just doing my due diligence, and maybe just saying that will help others understand where I'm coming from. So hopefully that will, once I cross that bridge, I can give some feedback on that. And thank you very much, Mr. President, for allowing me to speak.
Thank you, Ms. Jago. Mr. Dero?
Yes, first I'd like to offer a great evening to those that came out today. I appreciate you that you're here, that you stood by. We're hoping to, in the future, to encourage more parents, more administrative teachers to come out, because this is about you as well as for the district. So it's good to see those that did hang out here, and I appreciate it. It's my first official full board meeting, so maybe I have a little bit more grace, unless the president comes to me and says I spoke too long. I hope not later. As part of the finance committee, I am happy to support the initiatives and that we have coming on, the new sports facilities, middle school enhancements, senior class cafeterias, administrative space, all done in conjunction with gaining what we need as much needed classrooms and areas for learning. We just want to make sure that we're not forgetting to also pour just as much as we're doing with the initiatives with buildings into our students and into the curriculum and into what we saw as the slides up here. The programs and the studies, we need to be gearing that towards that as well. And I believe the Cortlandt Street project with tutoring is going to definitely enhance that and help us move forward as a district. No, we may not be where we need to be at this point, but we know that we're gearing towards the future. And we need to be better able to prepare for the students to face the challenges in life that they encounter as they leave school after graduation. We need them to go forward with that. Also heading up the personnel committee this year, one of the things I'm glad to see that there are many new teachers coming into the district, and on the other hand, of course, we're upset or sad when we see good teachers leave as well. That's a detriment to us. It's my hope that eventually there will be more students that graduated from our high school that want to come back and teach in this district. We should be encouraging that. We should be moving forward. I'm hoping that we are, and maybe I'll find out some over time. We need to make sure that we're making strides in bringing exceptional candidates to teach in this district, and to help to do whatever we can to retain those same teachers for the long term. Because my next statement, this is kind of a personal thing for me that recently happened as I joined this board, as I was elected into this board. You talk about the word influencers. There are so many so-called reality show influencers out there. I don't need to tell you who they are because you probably know who they are. They have TV shows, they make millions of dollars. However, the real influencers are our teachers that have an even greater impact in our children's lives because they spend so many hours a day with them, just pouring information into them. They have, like, outside of parents, they have the major responsibility of doing that. They may not think so now, but that will change in the future, of course, when they realize that. In the past, the only way we remembered certain teachers was by a signature that might have been in our yearbooks. Nowadays, with social media, we might even be able to reconnect them years later and be able to thank them for the time they dedicated and taught us. Just for an example for myself, recently I had my own 6th grade teacher, and I'm not going to tell you how long ago I was in 6th grade because I don't want to even talk about that, congratulate and commend me on becoming a board member. Now, that was very special to me. I really felt touched by that. But of course, I want to go back and give them credit to helping to shape my life when I was younger. So I just want to stress the importance of the teachers that we do have in this district, and I encourage that we need to just respect them and to encourage them to just continue with the great work that they started. Teachers, if you're here, I commend you. Thank you.
Ms. Dattis?
Okay, I have to follow that. Don't do that to me every month. This is your only shot. Good evening, everyone. Happy January. I know the weather's not acting like January, but it is January. And now when we have a snowstorm, it'll definitely be my fault, and that's okay. Congratulations to all the award winners tonight, sports-wise and academic-wise. If anyone hasn't been to the new training facility, please go check it out. The children seem to be loving it. I'm very happy we are utilizing it for tutoring. I, for one, have been advocating for more tutoring for a while now. I recognize our students need more help, and I think that that is a great step in the right direction. And everyone have a good night. And again, Mike, that was not nice. Don't do that again. Thank you, everyone.
Ms. Williams?
Thank you, President Muniz. Good evening, everyone. And also thank you to Trustee Darrell for those kind words about teachers. As an educator myself, that's like music to my ears, so I appreciate that. Thank you to our community members who came out to support our 3 Kings Day event here at the high school. Also, our MLK Flag Day raising that was down at Town Hall. It was a beautiful event. It just shows the beautiful diversity of our town. Next, I'd like to congratulate our talented and gifted students and our student athletes on all of your accolades. Also, a big thank you to our teachers, administrators, coaches, staff, and parents for supporting our students so they can contend in these competitions and excel. Lastly, yes, we looked at the data. We see there is room for improvement, but witnessing our students' accomplishments tonight reminds us that we are headed in the right direction and should give us pride in the work we do for our children. Thanks again to everyone for coming out tonight. Have a great evening.
Thank you, Ms. Bettavini.
Yep, thank you. Good evening, everyone. Let me just acknowledge the $4.5 million Kane partnership and the grant that they received and how the district is partnering and how important this is. Agenda item 7.24 is part of this program, and this program is to increase diversity among school psychologists while addressing students' mental health issues. And just to touch on that, so there are a couple of health assessments that are important that when you're doing research or applying for grants, as we all do, you might want to check them out. So on the Essex County Health Assessment, some of the leading issues for health: mental health, number 1, obesity and overweight, number 2, and cancer is the 3rd health issue for Essex County. The Clara Moss R.W.J. Barnabas also has a study. Their number 1 overlying health issue: obesity and overweight, diabetes, and prenatal care. So somewhere along there, you know, we look at some of these issues, but we do know that mental health is starting to reach at the top of the spectrum. And this last one by Essex County was done with the help of Rutgers. It's the most recent, 2022. And what that means for us and what this grant means is that when we look at our children, because these health issues are growing in our children, right? Now we're seeing them. The teachers are able to identify quicker, and we have a lot of health workers here on site that are helping with this. Just some simple things: irritability, trouble sleeping, headaches, change in eating habits, worrisome behavior. So I mean, some of those things you might just think, oh, my kid has a stomach ache, or oh, something else. But you know, if you're one of those parents that are caught in that middle gray area, thank goodness we have our school support system and some of these other programs to help our students so that they can cope with and be able to concentrate and do some of their work. And so when we think about academics and maybe problems addressing some grades, you know, these might be some reasons why our students aren't performing. Because for some reasons, our students now are worrying much more than probably when I went to school, or when our youngest, Frank, went to school here. So, I mean, this is just very important, and I'm very excited for this partnership, and kudos to you, Dr. Tomko, for being in touch with Kane University. Another thing on our policies, we had a policy meeting, and we incorporated 2 new policies: our walk to school policy and bicycle policy. Very terrific, because it goes along with what our community police department has been helping us do, helping our students walk to school. And again, all of these studies and all of these programs seem to overlap with health and getting out and doing things and being active. So kudos to all of our elementary schools, because I don't know if everyone knows this, but our elementary schools run the bronze certification for the Walk to School program, except for elementary school 8, who won the next level, which is silver, and the middle school. And I understand that the middle school wants to earn the gold certification. So kudos to all of them for wanting to do whatever they could do to walk or bike to school. And so why is that important? Because obviously on social media we could see what's happening during drop-off and pickup times. So it might be time to look at an alternative route other than using vehicles and walking to school the way we used to, or at least try, if you can, to walk or even bike to school. And that's why we see the community police department getting more and more involved with these programs. What else do? Well, they open the doors for the next rounds of funding, as I was having conversations with the other board members. Once you begin these programs and you're participating in them, and you see that they have a direct link or correlation to health and the environment and environmental justice, you begin to open up the door to being able to apply for funding for beautification. So the township was awarded a couple of grants. One is the Safe Routes to Transit grant, phase 1 and 2, and that will include walkability. So we see all of our streets being done in Belleville, but what are we doing for pedestrian safety and for walking around town or walking to school, right? So this grant will cover all of the sidewalks and streetscaping on a portion of Franklin Street. We applied for another grant recently. We're still waiting to hear. We're waiting for the Washington Avenue grant, but again, all for walkability. So it's great that we see our streets being done for automobiles, but what are we doing for walking and public safety and the safety of our children? So again, these are just programs that we're involved in, and it's kind of the overlap that we're involved in with the township. That's really all I have to say. Thank you for coming, and good evening, everyone.
Thank you. Ms. Jody Velez.
Good evening, everyone. So in old news, the student government on December 22nd held a winter pep rally and held a district or dress down day on December 23rd, where students were able to dress in their holiday outfits for a chance to win a $25 gift card, and the winner was Thomas DeVingo. And in new news, the BHS student government will be co-hosting a winter formal dance with the senior class, which will be held on February 15th. And there will be instant decision days for high school seniors on January 31st, February 1st, and February 2nd with different colleges. And congratulations to the TAG and Gifted and Fall Sport winners. Oh, Talented and Gifted, my bad. I would also like to congratulate the Belleville High School mock trial team for having their first scrimmage at the Princeton Day School last Saturday. As this team consists of dedication and intellectual combat, let's wish them the best luck for the state tournament on January 31st. The class of 2022's valedictorian and salutatorian, Michelle Jean Lewis from Harvard College and Sarai Rodriguez from St. Leo University, came to visit Belleville High School during their winter break. And before their new semester, they took the time out of their visit to speak to the Ralph Bellon Academy of Engineering and Medical Sciences. We should encourage alumni, such as these exemplary young women, to provide support and mentorship. I am a firm believer that all students seeking a path, whether it is college, military, trade school, or workforce, should be given resources and mentorship. Lastly, there is a list of virtual and in-person volunteering opportunities for high school students that is shared under the Student Personnel Services tab on the Belleville High School website. Thank you and have a good evening.
Thank you, Ms. Velez. So that leaves me. Nikki, you try following, speaking when you have a table full of leaders, and then you got to think of something to say. But I do echo everyone here. I want to congratulate our students that were recognized tonight, and also thank our teachers and our coaches for your investment into our children. It's evident that the work that we're doing as a district, it's evident that the efforts that you're all putting forward are allowing our kids to dominate in the areas where they really invest their efforts and really in what they're dedicated in doing. So I thank you all, because it's just not easy to do that. And you truly do make an impact. It's funny that Mike said that before, because the other day I was having this conversation with a friend of mine, and I was thinking about one of my old teachers, Mr. Holt, in Wilson Avenue School when I used to go there very long time ago. I won't tell you how long ago. But, you know, teachers do stay with us in our future. So, however he is today, you know, I hope he's well. But, you know, you all do make an impact. So I just wanted to, you know, thank you as a parent. You know, of 4 kids, I see at home what you guys do here. So thank you. And to my board, I mean, thank you for Dr. Tomko for kind of bringing it up, that it's recognition for the board. I do want to speak very highly of each person here. Everyone here, they really put their best foot forward. Everyone here has full intention to do the very best job possible. This is a heavy cross to bear sometimes when you're trying to do the very best job you can, and you know you deal with moral decisions, just doing the things that are right for you as an individual, at the same time not just thinking about yourself but thinking about all our staff, our students, our parents, our whole community. So it's not easy doing what you each do, and I commend you and I thank you for your efforts. The other day, I just want to share a quick story. The other day, my son was doing a report and talking about winning and how success is infectious. It's funny, we're sitting around my house, we were just talking about that and listening into tonight's meeting and listening to the comments that parents are making on social media, on the facilities, and hearing our kids win all these awards. You know, success is so infectious in our community. The ability for us to not just step up to the plate, but, you know, succeed in what we're doing and then be able to speak about that. And, you know, it's okay sometimes, you know, to just brag and just boast a little bit about that success. It's important that you be proud. It's not it's not negative for you to go ahead and say we did this, we achieved this, and we were able to get to a point where we're being recognized because of the hard work that we put forward. And I just want to say that about everyone in our district. Everyone's really worked so hard. Not too long ago, I asked Dr. Tomko for a list. I was home and I was just jotting things down. I'm very goal oriented, so you know, I do my year's goals and then I break it down into every month, every quarter, and I just kind of reassess. It's just how I function. And I was doing that for myself, and I was just going over things that we're doing in the district, you know, that have to do with sports, that has to do with academics, that has to do with facilities, just partnerships that we take on with other colleges like Keene University. But, you know, these are all incredible opportunities, and, you know, I just, you know, I don't think we speak, you know, we don't speak enough of the amazing things that we do. It's kind of like we just mention it in that one meeting and then just kind of fades away. But it's been so incredible, and I sat there and I was just so tired of writing, and then I go to Dr. Tomko and I was like, hey, you know, what else have we done? And then he sends me an email back where I was just like, I didn't even scratch the surface. So, you know, with that said, again, Dr. Tomko, the way you think of different ways to make Belleville relevant, to make Belleville just be here now, and everyone to hear our name and everybody to know what we're doing and everybody to just move forward. I thank you for your efforts. I thank our kids, because really everything we do here, we do for you. And you're the reason why every single person is sitting here. So as grateful as I am for the parents, which I am, as grateful as I am for the teachers, which I am, and as grateful as I am for everybody that has anything to do with keeping this district operational, I just want to thank our kids, because you're why we do it, and I thank you for stepping up, and I thank you for taking this on. So with that said, I just want to congratulate everybody once again, and have a great night. Can I have a motion to close our meeting?
Motion.
Second.
All right. Good night, everyone. All those in favor?